That was a usual morning for the people of Ukraine until 24th of February 2022, when Ukraine was attacked. On 23rd February at 11:50 p.m., Russian president notified for the same.
Просто не оставили никаких шансов поступить иначе. Отреагировать было невозможно.
The beginning of this special military operation resulted in the alarming state of Ukrainian capital Kyiv. This conflict forced numerous people to flee from their homes, seeking refugees in the neighboring countries. Mariupol has been a key fighting ground as Moscow looks to overturn its loss of year 2014. Odessa, holding its industrial significance, is also attacked, mainly in the warehouses. Over 2,000 civilians were dead in the first week of war itself. Have a look at the explosions and the intensified attacks of fierce fighting. The Russian offense against Mariupol has turned the city into the ashes of a dead land within 30 days of war. This state clarifies our message from the last video that war only leads to destruction. A clip of Ukrainian President Zelensky leaving message for the civilians.
Всі ми тут, наші військові тут, громадяни суспільства тут, всі ми тут. Захищаємо нашу незалежність, нашу державу. І так буде і далі. Слава нашим захисникам, слава нашим захисницям. Слава Україні!
Here we have 8 majorly afflicted cities of Ukraine by the Russian invasion: Kyiv, Kharkiv, Luhansk, Donetsk, Mariupol, Crimea, Kherson, and Odessa. Russia is withdrawing some forces from the outskirts of Kyiv, but remaining troops are continuing to resist Ukrainian counterattacks around the capital. In the midst of these chaos, one thing caught everyone's attention.
No flying zone.
No fly zone.
No fly zone goes.
No fly zone.
No fly zone.
You can hear everyone's call for a no-fly zone. So what exactly is a no-fly zone and how do they work? A no-fly zone, also known as air exclusion zone, is a prohibition on all or certain types of aircraft flying through a designated airspace over a country or a region. They are imposed to protect the population and to limit an ongoing conflict on the ground by preventing hostile nations from entering exclusion zones. Who can enforce NFZs? Enforcing a no-fly zone requires United Nations Security Council authorization. Justified in Article 39 of the UN Charter, the Security Council may determine that if threats to international peace cannot be addressed by non-forcible measures, then the United Nations may authorize such actions by air, sea, or land forces. What happens if an NFZ is violated? So if an aircraft breaches a non-fly zone, it can be subjected to military interception, could be disrupted, and ultimately risk being shot down. Let us look at the history of NFZs in brief. So in 1991, US and coalition partners UK and France proclaimed 2 no-fly zones in Iraq after the first Gulf War of 1991. In 1992, the United Nations passed a resolution which banned unauthorized military flights during the Balkans conflict. In 2011, the United Nations Security Council approved a no-fly zone in Libya in response to events during the first Libyan civil war. Talking about NFZs in the present, no-fly zones are set up for safety, security, or environmental reasons by preventing the use of drones around airports, high-rise buildings, or government buildings like the White House in the US, and over sacred sites for religious and cultural reasons. Knowing the present humanitarian crisis, it is so central to intuitively understand that what does an NFZ mean for Ukraine and what Zelensky has to say.
Закликав світових лідерів, задіяти всі можливі санкції проти Путіна, розпочати масштабну оборонну підтримку, закрити для агресора повітряний простір над Україною. Спільно ми маємо врятувати Україну, врятувати демократичний світ.
A no-fly zone over Ukraine imposed by NATO will mean that both Russia and Ukraine would not be able to use their air power over the region. NATO forces would engage directly with a Russian plane spotted in those skies and shoot at them if necessary. It would protect civilians from attacks and allow them to flee safely. By now, the inquisitive viewer must want to know that why are the US and NATO against it? So imposing a no-fly zone over Ukraine could mean NATO fighter jets shooting down and exchanging fire with the Russian military. That means it will drag the alliance directly into the war. With Putin already considering any interference of third party as an act of war, NATO is reluctant to risk bigger conflict in Europe. Warnings to the West and US by Russian President Putin. No-fly zone must be established over the territory of Ukraine. It is impossible to do so over the territory of Ukraine itself. It is only possible from territory of some neighboring countries. Any move in this direction will be viewed by us as a participation in direct armed conflict with Russia.
That's long. It breaks my hearts of all Ukrainians and every free person on the planet. People matter. Freedom matters. Ukraine matters.
So let me know about your opinions on what could be the more prudent path in the comments below. Many thanks for watching. Take care until next time. Make sure you subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon for no risk of missing out on abundance of such informative stuff with none other than Overdose Now.